Let's talk about things that are closer to earth, and this is about the logistics business, and we're talking about delivery, which is of course your B2B and your C2C logistics courier service, operating a very large surface fleet network in India across cities, towns and villages. And now they've announced a partnership with Volvo Trucks, under which they're going to deploy these tractor trailers, those long tractor trailers, the Volvo FM 4x2s, and this for their delivery operations. They operate a lot for e-commerce platforms. What they're ensuring is that there is better speed of delivery and also time efficiencies. But let's get more on this from the management of Delivery. Sandeep Barasia is the Chief Business Officer and the Managing Director of the company, and he's joining us on Startup Central. Mr. Barasia, great to have you with us. Tell us about this partnership. How are you going to ensure that there is that much more saving when it comes to time as well as costs?
Hi, Adesh. Thanks for bringing me on. I'm very excited to share what we are doing with Volvo. We've just launched these tractor trailers. These are 43 feet tractor trailers being launched in India for the first time, that actually Volvo and we've been working together on for several months now, both in India as well as in Sweden. These are really exciting because for the first time we've launched these, and if you just think about the cubic capacity of one of these tractor trailers, we can carry 93 cubic meters worth of goods in one of these trailers. The most common truck in express network in India so far is a single axle 32-feeter. That can actually carry 56 cubic meters. So it's almost double. So 80% more volume being carried at the same time, actually faster, because these trucks have been adjusted for speed, for fuel consumption. So overall, we're actually carrying a lot more load for similar cost brackets. So on an operating basis, it comes out to be about 20-25% cheaper for us. What we also have been discussing with Volvo is the life of these trucks is 15 lakh kilometers, which is 2.5 times what would be the typical life of a normal 32 feet single axle or multi-axle truck. So it's really exciting from an operations capability. You're carrying more load with the same amount of time, actually less time, with similar fuel consumption. So on a per unit basis, actually it's much better for the environment, and it's much better for us as a company and for our customers. Eventual goal is to reduce the cost for customers, and this helps us do that.
Sandeep, also help us understand, because at this point in time when we are understanding the depth of the crisis that we are in, and we are just about recovering, we are in unlock mode right now. E-commerce platforms are the kind of businesses that you've been serving. What kind of a change have you seen pre-lockdown and now?
So, obviously the lockdown the COVID crisis has been tragic for so many people. But I think what e-commerce has shown itself to be a really essential part of the economy during this crisis. Because one of the things that all of us as consumers, one of the challenges that we had during the lockdown was actually getting access to goods that we needed, even essential goods. And it's a big gray area. What do you classify as an essential? If your phone breaks and you need a new phone, is that essential, or is only food essential? So there are many things that actually become essential. What we experienced as part of the lockdown was early April, of course, like everybody else, our network also shut down for a few days. But we were back up very quickly. By the middle of April, we were fully back up. By the end of April, we were back to business as usual. What we've experienced through June and July is actually we are significantly higher than what we were in January and February and March. So we are well and truly back to pre-COVID levels. And actually on a normal trajectory of growth that we would have expected this year to actually have anyway. But it's not just from e-commerce. E-commerce is one part of our business. We also do a whole bunch of B2B supply in the market. So we've seen similar growth come back for both e-commerce as well as B2B. But of course, e-commerce is so key that we really see volumes grow in e-commerce through this year as consumers are actually trying to access the same goods that they would get in the offline market through the online channel. So we're seeing pretty impressive growth. So I think pre-lockdown, February, March, we probably would have been at about 800, 900,000 shipments a day. We are almost at 1.25 to 1.5 million shipments a day right now. So significant growth in terms of volume of shipment that we are doing right now.
Sandeep, talking about the B2B business, because yes, e-commerce, we are seeing a recovery, but the lagging segment was B2B for you as well. And there was a very strong buzz, at least last year, that there were early talks with Blue Dart and Gati as far as offloading your B2B business is concerned. Where are we on that?
Yeah, I can't comment on what you might have heard in the market. For us, we've been very clear. For us, B2B is a core part of our business. It's actually not been lagging for us at all. Actually, our B2B business has been growing much faster than even our B2C business, which is growing pretty fast. B2C almost makes us 40-45% of our business today. So actually has been the fastest growing segment or part of our business across the board. We do LTL, we do FTL, we do supply chain services. So actually that's been the fastest growing part of our business. So, I'm sure there are all kinds of things that you hear in the market, but nothing that we were actually involved with in any meaningful way. All I can tell you is that our future plans is actually continue to drive growth, both on B2C and B2B. We see B2C, B2B being 50% of our business over the next couple of years. And as we think about our business, when we think about investing behind these Volvo trucks, we look at them as assets that are actually utilized across those segments because we see real synergy between those two businesses for us. So for us, B2B is really synergy. Our entire backbone of the business is common between B2C and B2B. And the reason we are driving both the businesses together is because of the synergies we see across them. So from our point of view, we think future is bright for both sides of this business. I think e-commerce will continue to do well as more and more customers are actually getting familiar with that and are getting stickier on the e-commerce platform. I think B2B is a real driver of India coming back. And as you see recovery happening in India, you will see B2B come back. And we see both of those businesses growing equally well in the future.
But all businesses have had to do a certain amount of re-strategizing in a post-COVID world, for a post-COVID world. Among the services that you offer, Sandeep, over at Delivery, the last mile delivery, the transit warehousing, the payment collections, the vendor to warehouse, the vendor to customer shipping, among all of these verticals, if I may call it that, are you trying to perhaps re-strategize and pivot the business a little bit more towards one over another?
Not really, Adesh. I think our strategy is very clear. It's been very clear all along. Our strategy is very simple. There are sort of really two flywheels to our strategy. One side is actually core logistics services, and the other side is technology. Our core logistics services focuses on building world-class infrastructure, whether it comes to a sorter machine, which actually is the sorter machines that we will have in India are far advanced than what anybody else does, or scaling up large-scale hubs and centers. And we have, in most major cities, over the years, we've actually now moving to large 500,000 square feet, 1 million square feet hubs, really building that capacity. And then, of course, investing in high-quality rolling stock like the Volvo Trucks, or working with partners who actually invest in these kind of things. And that enables us to provide really high-quality services at as low a cost as possible. The flip side is we collect a lot of data from this. And all of that data really goes to optimize a network, bring in technology to play. And the learnings from India are now actually we're starting to package that to see how can we take these learnings to other parts of the world. So I think there's no real change in our strategy. As I said, our entire backbone is common. So whether we do B2C or B2B, we land up actually investing in the same backbone. And so both the businesses can function equally. I think a couple of things that do stand out as a result of this COVID situation is one, how resilient our network has been because of our technology. So all our large hubs are system driven. There are no human decisions being made. So in a time where you actually have to socially distance, we can actually operate a hub at half the capacity of people, and it works perfectly fine. So we can achieve. And if one part of a network fails because of the COVID issue, or if we find one center where there are some cases and we have to shut it down, the system automatically bypasses that and jumps to the next one. So the mesh works so seamlessly that we're able to bypass that because of systems direction. We've learned as a part of this crisis that this is a core part of our technology and one that actually is highly exportable. So really one of the things that we are coming out of this is that the delivery platform has huge implications in other emerging markets. And how do we take that internationally? How do we make our technology available overseas? The second thing that we've obviously are going to accelerate on is what are we doing with local commerce? we are already one of the we probably are the largest local commerce company in the country, because all our last mile is essentially local. But we've never marketed it and we've never positioned it as such. We tend to do end to end.
Sure.
But essentially, we'll open up our local commerce for retailers, for essential good suppliers, for pharmacies, more aggressively than we've done in the past. So those are the two things that I think we take away from the COVID crisis.
Well, we wish you great luck for the future, for the kind of strategy that you have going for yourself, and we will reconnect and see how businesses are opening up, thriving, and perhaps achieving growth targets as well, as difficult as it is in these times. But thanks very much, Sandeep Barasia, for joining us from Delivery. We'll take a very quick break now on this edition of Startup Central. Another startup coming up on the flip side. We're talking to the management of Drink Prime. More on that coming up in just a moment.